What's up, guys? We're live. This is going to be a shorty. From a little magnesium spray. I think I'm going to do a small little 3-minute video about the importance of electrolytes because after 11 years, yeah, this stuff is not this stuff, but you know, your minerals, they're no joke. So I love to put this on all day long. Plus a sublingual magnesium, but that'll be later. Let's talk about the macros, right? Because a lot of you seem to still be confused, and the hype of keto is at its tipping point on the roller coaster ride. But I'll still be here talking about it, so you guys can still be educated. As you guys are coming into the chat, get some space here up in here. So let's do this, guys. All right. Here's the deal. Macros. Very, very interesting. Been doing this stuff for a long time, been coaching for a long time. I've been a staunch critic of the wrong macros and what they can do to your body. And I've learned a lot. And I want to talk about the top ones like right now. What's up, everyone? I'm just going to get it out of the way, and then we're going to talk about everything else. All right. So obviously the number one on keto and keto carnivore, because they're very similar, except carnivores got no plants left, is, y'all know, it's liver. Ooh, okay. We don't want to have dribbles of blood all over my floor. But it's liver, right? That's number one. And the nutrient density in this liver is no joke. Now, people talk about it, but I eat this stuff every day. About an ounce or two every single day. I'll go into more why I'm doing this. Now, the other thing is I bought a bunch of grass-fed beef, and since I can't eat it all by myself at once, I had to freeze it, which I hate doing. But I just took it out of the freezer, so I'm going to let this unthaw. But this is some grass-fed red meat here. As you guys can see, I want to talk more about red meat. It's been a venture into red meat, and it's so interesting when you buy grass-fed, how like after a day it's sort of like brown, and then you're like, is that rotten? Because you go to a normal supermarket and the stuff stays bright red forever. So it's kind of foolery to your mind, right? You're like, oh, this is the healthier one, not realizing it's been dyed and preserved. Or you want it to start turning brown and to know that it is grass-fed. So I never really pushed the whole red meat thing. I mean, you guys know I started doing the liver about 7 months ago now. July, August, September, October, November, January. Oh shoot, it's been more now. I started in June, I think, talking about liver. So it's been about 8 months. And as soon as I started eating the liver, it was like my whole body went, it's about time. It's about dang time. But when you first start eating it, you really don't have enough data to know what is it going to be like to be eating liver over time. Now, what's up, everyone? I haven't aged at all. Thank you. So I love this. So I really started incorporating the red meats all at the same time. So I started doing liver, heart, kidney, and just beef. And then I weave in and out salmon, pork, eggs, and I'm really tired of chicken. Like, I'll buy it from time to time and I'll be like, no, it don't feel right. Like once you start doing the red meat and then you try to go back to chicken, it doesn't do it for me. So with that said, I started learning more. Now, as you guys, somebody said, oh, she hasn't aged. Now, the thing is, you guys, I've been showing my body in this like workout stuff for a long time. And it's just to kind of show you, it's sort of like a video diary of me as I'm aging over time. So that's quite interesting. But with that said, uh, incorporating the red meats, especially to a menstruating woman, is critical. I'm not kidding. Especially iron rich organs like liver. Now, there's the other concept that I love about the top macros being the idea of L-carnitine, right? Because L-carnitine is highest in red meat, and L-carnitine helps to make it simple, burn fat, right? Triglycerides in the fat cell and utilize it and burn it and use it as energy. And so a lot of bodybuilders like to take L-carnitine. Now, a couple of years ago, I did grass-fed beef for 2 years, and then I got sick of it. Like I had enough. But this go around, I'm not sick of it. Okay, somebody was saying that after eating red meat after 4 months that they couldn't stand the chicken. So I really, really have been investigating more the micronutrients and the nutrient density of red meat in comparison to some of the other meats. And red meat is just, it's incredible, right? You got your branched chain amino acids, but other protein has that. But it has things like selenium and copper, and we need that balance between and zinc. So especially with liver, zinc and copper, that balance is so important. People need their B6. They're getting a lot. They're getting B6 and they're getting B12, and in liver they're getting more of the Bs. I think they're getting B9, 6, 9, and um, hemochromatosis. Well, I know Chris Masterjohn has, I think, hey Deborah, he talks about having some genetic link to having hemochromatosis, which I think you said hemochromatosis. Let me be sure you said that. Yeah. So hemochromatosis is a disorder that men develop, typically men, that they have too much iron. So essentially, their body's not using the iron. And I don't know enough about hemochromatosis at all. I know that people with the symptoms of hemochromatosis have to do bloodletting and let go of some of that iron. But I assume it works something like a diabetic where their glucose is rising too high and it's toxic to the cells. And that's the same thing with iron. So I don't know. I think definitely should go to one of Chris Masterjohn's live streams and ask him that question. He's really, really, really awesome, very intelligent individual. But with that said, I have a keto course group, and a lot of people have been doing a lot of organ meats and a lot of red meat. And it seems as though people's numbers are improving. Now, we're still in the experimental phase, but so far, so good. People who've got unstable blood sugar and they have low ketones or stable ketones, you start to see their numbers begin to balance with the symptoms with more red meats, especially the organ meats, because you're going to have certain things like vitamin A, or people who've got sort of dry eyes, or people who've got DAO, diamine oxidase deficiencies, and they're getting more of the properties in kidney to be able to produce more DAO to then deal with the production of histamine. A lot of people have histamine intolerance, so they have a buildup of histamine, and their body just can't deal with it. They feel awful. People who've got histamine intolerance feel fluish. They have like allergy symptoms. They just feel like crap. People with histamine, they got skin issues, bloated issues, poop in their stool issues. And so the best foods on a keto diet, I realize, is not vegetables. Now, they have their place, right? So the potassium and I'll do a separate video about this. The potassium and the sodium balance is, I want to do a separate video about this, because the potassium and sodium balance on a keto diet, as long as I've done, which is over 11 years, is the one thing that I have to keep on. I know that's annoying, but that's the thing that I think after doing this for so many years, if I don't keep on it, I don't feel well. So, let's see what this says. I'm basically only eating dairy products now. Don't do that. No, don't do that. I'm tired of meat. No, don't be tired of meat. But I added back in grandchild. I don't know what to say, and they're just giving me too much flatulence. So grain is giving you flatulence because you're not digesting it. So I don't know why. Use it yin yang. You follow my streams a lot, and why you went on grains? Why? If you're going to go back onto a low carb, high fat protocol, why didn't you go? Well, I mean, the only grain that I recommend for people who go back onto carbs or who want to graduate or want to sit at a low carb would be white rice for the starch carbohydrate benefit and nothing else, because you're going to bleach the frack out of it to bleach out all the anti-nutrients, and or sweet potato. But some people have a histamine intolerance to sweet potato, which is why I love carnivore so much. I'm literally watching people with their issues, like their food in their stool, um, these things like colitis, diverticulitis, Crohn's, all those inflammatory bowel diseases heal by eating an all meat and all fat, meat, fat, and meat diet. So the main macros on keto are obviously going to be fatty meats, right? So we got 2 fatty meats here. Organ meats are very fatty, so we got 2. Although the beef is not as fatty, but it's got L-carnitine in it, which helps with fat burning, lipolysis. And we've got the liver, which to me, this is the holy grail of life. So this was what was missing in my keto diet like 5 years ago. So I did start noticing about 2 years ago. I started to go like this when I was reading, which I did videos, if not on YouTube, I did them on my Instagram, which is Stephanie Ketogenic. I was talking about using the pinhole glasses to help strengthen the eyes and the muscles on the eyes. So when you read, you can see properly. But all I really needed to do was eat liver, which is high in retinol, which is the fully formed version of vitamin A. And I'm telling you, after 3 months, I could read perfectly as I get close to my screen. And my eyesight improved exponentially, probably in the 90 percentile on eating liver. So I'm just really, really excited for the zinc copper balance benefits, the selenium benefits, the fat soluble vitamins, the vitamin C, and the iron, because I am a menstruating woman at 51. So, you see, I'm basically, okay, I read that stuff. Okay, can you eat keto if you have high uric acid? Now, that's the thing, Terry, that's very interesting about the uric acid, right? The uric acid in red meats, the purines really is the issue. I've been reading and it seems like there's no clear data now. I did work with somebody with gout. Now, do you have high uric acid or do you have gout? Like, are you forming any type of kidney stones, issues with the biliary system? That also matters. So I actually worked with somebody who had actual gout in the foot, and grass-fed and really, really closer to fresh slaughter, grass-fed. And of course no oxalates. Spinach. He would notice a clearing up of the gout in his feet. So the quality of food, even though there's uric acid in red meat and purines, it seems like the quality where freaking cow is not even is fully grass-fed, pastured, eating from the pastures, does not seem to have. Now this isn't 100%, not yet, but it doesn't seem to be over time with people that I've worked with showing signs of gout appearing or kidney stones while eating more red meat. Yes, Deborah says to like up the stream. We got 46 whole people in the house. Almost got 100,000 subscribers. Come on, people. Let's like up the stream, because that brings people to this channel and help grow it to then get out how to do this more safe. Now, the main meats to me now are no longer going to be these other meats. The main meats are definitely red meats, definitely organ meats, and a rotation schedule of these red meats. Now, I like for people to rotate everything. Salmon is so expensive, so I know people have difficulty, and also the red meat. But there are companies like U.S. Wellness Meats, which I love, or Butcher Box, that you can actually purchase your grass-fed meats, or you can buy a third of a cow or half a cow and go together with a friend or a neighbor or family member and buy that cow, grass-fed, fully pastured grass-fed cow, because you're going to notice a lot of benefits with your keto adaptation on red meat. Now, when it comes to the fats, it's kind of the same rule of thumb in the sense of we only want, not only, but we mainly want animal fat. We don't want to sit there and gurgle down a bunch of oils like olive oil, which can oxidize, avocado, which seems to oxidize after, like not as much as olive oil. But people are upping their fats. I'm getting people to 200 grams of fats on a ketogenic protocol, and I don't want them to eat a bunch of oils from plants. I actually, the freaking, y'all who are afraid of saturated fat, it's actually plants that have the highest levels of saturated fats, because animal fat is made out of mono, then saturated, then poly unsaturated fats. So it's made up of a 3 fatty acid profile, and a lot of people don't realize that. So some animals are higher in mono, like pork, and some are higher in citrus, and we want a nice balance because we're mammals and we're eating mammals. So people on the course page are eating a lot of lard, which is around the intestine, I believe, of a pig. They're eating, because some people cannot tolerate butter. So people are, they're eating butter, they're eating ghee, which is clarified butter. It's just cooked longer. Butter, because we're not doing raw. I mean, you can do raw, but most people are purchasing bulk of ghee or butter or grass-fed butter. And there's the whole problem with Kerrygold. Obviously, they are not grass-fed the entire year. Now, I think I've been sent these articles about the lawsuit against Kerrygold, and this is over a couple years. And people send it now. I'm like, yo, this has been going on a couple. Where you been? Like, I already know about this stuff. Yeah, so Kerrygold is not 100% grass-fed, and they say and they argue that this has always been on their site, that they cannot, they do not. Well, first of all, when you're in a cold climate, you cannot have pastured cows the entire year. It's impossible. I know that because I lived in Sweden and nothing grows in the winter. So talking about Irish butter, so they should do hay. And often, unfortunately, not unfortunately with hay, but they'll do hay and they'll do soy. So that's a problem. So some of that you're going to get soy in that Kerrygold. That's the way it is. Now, so people do lard and they do tallow. Now, histamine people, these are the reasons why people choose lard or tallow, because obviously butter is more palatable. It tastes good. You can put it on anything. You can make fat bombs and smoothies, all this kind of stuff. But really, with the lard and the tallow, you can also, which I've explained a million times, just take it out of the package, put it in a saucepan. You can add spice to it if you don't have histamine intolerance or nightshade issues. Add spice to it, and then put it back into a mason jar. So then when you're putting that fat, that tallow, or that lard on the plate, it has flavor. Then it tastes amazing. Fat makes food taste amazing, but people get that whiff or that taste of the tallow or the lard, and it doesn't have a strong palate like flavor, like it. So we want animal fats, and the animal fats, the main ones are going to be lard, tallow, then butter. Most often in that order. Now, I have been evolving over the years on the types of fats. I'm not a big pusher anymore of avocados, because so many people have freaking latex allergies. They have issues with avocados. Now, it's it's the lesser out of the majority. Not everybody has an avocado issue, but they'll even be like, I don't like the texture. And I start to become concerned with all you histamine people. So you can choose to have avocados. I have avocados. I used to eat them like twice a day, two avocados a day. Now I'm eating avocado about every other day, one every other day. Um, Now, the sodium potassium balance is very important. People are constantly pulling up these electrolyte powders, which are pretty toxic to the biliary system, especially kidneys, especially this potassium citrate, potassium chloride. So if you can get to this stuff in food, like bone marrow, like in liver, like in salt, or in spinach or avocado. I know I just said avocado. Now I can do avocado all the time. I'm not doing less avocado because I'm concerned about having any type of latex allergy. It's just I'm becoming more of a carnist in that sense, where I'm just doing less veggie, doing what I need to keep my electrolytes in balance, and not just, oh, I need to eat 9 cups of veggies a day. No, you don't. We know that you don't now. Which takes us down to the carbs. So now, thanks to the carnivore movement, it got me really researching. I did a lot of experimentation with the people on my course page. A lot of people are doing the carnivore diet, and it seems like everybody who's got health issues is improving while doing the carnivore diet. It's amazing, amazing to literally witness this happen for the first time in front of my eyes. But they only do a keto carnivore. They don't do just carnivore. You cannot, on a carnivore diet, because you can frack yourself up, do leaner meats, leaner red meats, tuna, like lean meats altogether, not enough fat, and nothing to balance out your electrolytes. That fast to the hospital. Okay? No. You need those electrolytes, and you need to drink water, because you're not eating carbs. So that means you're going to be holding on to less. You're going to be hydrates. Carbs make you hold on to water in the cells. That's why people who eat carbs don't have the heart palpitations, even though their potassium and magnesium might be lower. But eating a bunch of carbs make you swell up like a freaking balloon, make you hold on to your electrolytes a wee bit more. And you don't feel like shite if you don't have enough of them in your diet, if you are eating a bunch of processed carbs. So the main macros are going to be red meats. And then I would say salmon, egg yolks. Egg yolks, if you guys don't have histamine intolerance to the protein in the yolk, which a lot of you guys have a sensitivity to the proteins in eggs, but if you don't, egg yolks. I would say red meat, egg yolks, right there. Red meat, egg yolk, butter, because butter has CLAs, ALAs, and omega-3s, and the fat-soluble vitamins in it. Butter is amazing if you don't have histamine intolerance. So I think I'm going to move that from lard. I'm going to put lard in second place and butter in the first place. I was just thinking of histamine people when I gave it a lower rating. I'm putting butter up in a higher rating because I just remembered all the nutrients in butter. So when it comes down to your vegetables, to be honest, I'm not really driven by the polyphenols, the carotenoids, and the flavonoids, the antioxidant benefits of plants. I'm more, or even the fiber. I'm more driven by the minerals that we need, that we are not getting enough in potassium and some of the meat sources. So there's more potassium in avocado and spinach than there is in liver. But if you combine all these other meats and salts and things, the foods of this nature, to get your potassium in, then I really want you guys to stay away from the potassium electrolyte powders. Just stay away from it if you can, because the potassium in these things are so bad for your kidneys and so bad for your liver, so bad. All right, I'm going to take your guys' questions. That was my whole thing about macros. It's pretty simple. Now, the amounts and this, that'll do it in another live stream, another video, like the timing of your food, the amount, everything. Because when we're dealing with the different camps, right, we've got hypoglycemics that have to eat every 3 hours, which is a pain in the butt for the digestive tract. I'm not going to lie, but when you live a life of destruction and you destroy your insulin and glucagon balance, then unfortunately for the short term, we got to get that insulin in check. right? So insulin is a big subject. It has everything to do with fat loss and fat gain. Insulin sensitivity, so that's another stream. I'm going to go more into that. But the timing of your foods, the type of foods, and the amount of your foods is, and the circadian rhythm timing is beyond critical to doing this for the long term. That's it. And to adapt, not only for the long term, but to adapt. So it's really important to go into the timing. Now, everybody, now the whole, all of the processed, dirty keto junk, people don't adapt on that. Yeah, you're not going to adapt. You have to eat clean food. And people can't intellectualize that. So I did a consultation. I do consultations. If you guys want a consultation with me, and I've been doing them for years, and I've been doing them more than anyone else and the longest, strictly on keto. Now, I'm going to open this up to low carb, high fat, because a lot of people need to learn how to graduate into keto or just get off of processed foods, not do paleo, because the modern day paleo is a bunch of also, what is it, dirty paleo. So keto, although full keto is where it's, and the problem with people who are professionals, they haven't done it that long. They haven't studied that long. So everything becomes anecdotal and they guess. But because I've actually done it for 11 years straight without any refeeds, I know my biggest problem is what? So it's getting enough of your electrolytes. That is beyond measure the worst thing about doing keto for this long and staying fully ketotic for the entire time with no starch or restoring glycogen in the muscle. It is making sure that you're on top of your electrolytes. It is the most important thing once you got your macros down. That's the most important thing about doing keto for the long term. So you guys can see that I've been doing keto forever. You guys can see that my body literally has not changed. And I'm in my mother's second 50s now. You know, I started talking about this in my mid 40s, and now I'm in my, and I've been doing it way more than mid 40s. But that's when I had enough gumption and enough balls to go on the internet and start talking about keto. Because back then, no one talked about it. People can't even find me on the internet because it's just barrage of people like talking as like. So if you go back to the video catalog, which I won't, because you'll be seeing this. I got some energy. You will see in the original catalog of videos that I've been doing this a long time. Okay, let's see here. How many magnesium sprays per day? There is no how many. So I'm just kind of being silly. That's why I'm spraying it all the time. I'm just being silly on stream. But I take a supplemental magnesium. So I take magnesium glycinate, and I just put a little that nice magnesium, which is so important to a lot of different actions within the body. And yeah, so that's something that I'm just, you guys really need to be on your electrolyte balance. And intermittent fasting just puts your body at risk for a lot of stress. And yeah, I can't wait for intermittent fasting to die. It will. Once all the health issues start coming out, it's going to die. People will die too, but I'll still be here. What do you do if your T levels are too high? R2, are you like R2 high? What if your testosterone's too high? Are you a woman? Wait, is it Carnival? Oh, Carnival. You know, I gotta say this before answering this question about magnesium aspartate. I watch your channel. Good job. I gotta say, I'm very impressed. You got me laughing many a time. I'll be like in the toilet, on the toilet, and I just start laughing because you say some funny stuff. So go and check his channel if it's the right person, if it's not a troll. So as far as Carnival, as far as the magnesium goes, people are having issues with aspartate and also with the malate. People seem to do better with glycinate. So people have like a histamine reaction to some of the other magnesium types. They don't feel well. They feel kind of like, I don't feel good. So in a very layman's terms, then that's what I prescribe is glycinate. That seems to be tolerated first and also do the job of getting people's central nervous system relaxed enough to be able to hit that circadian rhythm and sleep in the evening. Can't wait till intermittent fasting dies. You can't wait till it dies either. So the reason why I say, for those who've just chimed in, the reason why I'm so against the intermittent fasting, when so many people are pro intermittent fasting, and unfortunately, it's mostly men who say that. Women got some issues, child. Okay, women, and this right there, like that right there, no, it's right here. That's our uterus, right, and the ovaries up here. So the problem is with a lot of people a lot of women have issues with their biliary system. They have trapped estrogen in their gallbladder. They have, we're talking, I don't know how many women more developing cysts within their ovaries, and also having fibroids, and also having their freaking testosterone too high or too low, or their estrogen too high or too low, sex drive gone, can't build muscle. This is the fat zone. A lot of men are going through andropause. So I'm really, really, really concerned about the problems with pregnenolone steal and the body robbing from the pregnenolone, then the DHEA, and then all of a sudden your hormones go like this. And you have to remember, you guys, when you fast, you adapted. There are certain types of people who adapt better. People who are already athletes, who are disciplined like my little ass here, or nice ass. I've been working out and being pretty, I mean, I'm in my 50s, so I'm pretty diligent about getting to bed. Like, that's not something I compromise. So I need to go down when the sun goes down. I need to protect these little babies, these adrenals. So if I protect these adrenals, like, let's talk about fasting in theory. If I protect these adrenals, I've been doing this 11 years. I'm fully adapted. I follow a circadian rhythm, right? My digestive chart, I don't sit there and eat on the go, on food in my car on the way to work. I allow my body to digest. I have balanced hormones. If I were to fast, which I would never do for a long period of time, and if I were to fast, I would literally not go till mid-morning and afternoon to fast. I would literally break the fast, then fast in the middle of the day, and then eat at night. Now, with that said, if I chose to fast the traditional route for autophagy, I'm going to tell you right now, people, if I fasted on those days, right, those days of fasting to typical fasting schedule, I would be chilling. I would take days to chill. If I fast, I'm not going to run around. I'm not going to go and create inverted cortisol. I'm not going to get myself all flustered and get my cortisol rhythm off because I want to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, hit the gym, do fasted and eat. I start working and then forget to eat, and then I finally eat, and then I'm already catabolic. I'm already creating inflammation within the body. Let me see. Keto is usually fast until I'm hungry. Unfortunately, Keto Diamond Channel, that's not scientific. People love this idea of fasting without really trying to understand what's going on with their body. Lost 4 pounds lean mass, trying 2 days of OMAD, not for me. Interesting. Okay. Okay, how to explain this? People say that when they fast, vegan diet, fruitarian diet, breath diet, because people want to believe in their own belief system. They don't actually try to find out what's going on with their existing health, right? So someone like myself, I can have my blood sugar spike to 90 milligrams per deciliter. But I'm so insulin sensitive. I've got great GLUT4 receptor development. I can grab that glucose like this without lowering it and not developing any type of rebound hypoglycemia. Okay, I'm not a really big fan of DIM. I'm pretty sure that you can get some of these properties from real food rather than going to the supplementation of DIM. Now, some people swear by DIM and some people have issues with it. So it's kind of hard to give you a black and white answer to that. Anyone else experiencing buffering? I sometimes, I forgot to do this stream without it. Okay. Anybody else experiencing buffering? Yeah, it's in broccoli, but some people can't digest broccoli. It ends up in the toilet. Okay, so I'm going to take off the Wi-Fi. Okay, guys, I took it off of the Wi-Fi. I put it onto my 4G network on my phone. Let me know if it's still buffering. Is it better? I forgot. Now for the first 30 minutes, people are going to see pixelated crap and buffering, and they're going to complain about it in the comment section, but I forgot. So people complain about everything. That's the society that we live in. Okay, thanks, guys. I really wish I would have thought of this before, but I just completely forgot. I've been doing errands all day, and I wanted to come home and live stream and then get off, and then I just didn't turn off the Wi-Fi. It was high. Thank you for your information on high uric acid on keto. No, I do not have gout, nor do I want it. No, you don't. I love liver, organ meats too. Would love, let's see, would you recommend I stop eating these while my uric acid is high? I can't tell you that. I cannot tell you that. I don't know. And here's the thing about why you even have high uric acid. Like when people have issues, if their body's out of whack, if they're in an imbalance, you have to kind of figure out what created this high uric acid. Like, are you up late at night? Are you coming from a processed food diet? Are you a third shift night worker? Why is your body not going into homeostasis? And some weird stuff like that. Like, I don't know why people are developing hemochromatosis, but it's very rare. I don't know why you have high uric acid, which there's certain people that have that. I don't know if you're missing, let's say, oxalobacter, which is the enzyme. No, it's bacteria that helps break down the oxalate. I don't know. I know that we live in the wrong way. We're modern humans. We want to intermittent fast, not because we're trying to be healthy. We're trying to intermittent fast because we want to lose weight. That's, to me, it's insane. If you're going to fast, you must rest, right? So the body can repair. If you want to experience autophagy, take your fasting days. I have no problem with intermittent fasting if you rest. Go get a book, go chill on a weekend, go sit in nature if you can, and fast those days. Otherwise, don't be doing like 3 days in one while fasting, because over time, everybody starts having problems. They either start binging, if they intermittent fast too long, binging, or they begin to have electrolyte problems, or they begin to have their hair fall out, or they start having problems with their DHEA, they become estrogen, their estradiol starts to go up too high. The thyroid issue, the adrenal issue is huge, right? This hypoglycemia on intermittent fasting. Because ain't nobody talk about hypoglycemia. A lot of you guys have reactive hypoglycemia and hypoglycemia. And then you're fasting, which is the worst thing for people who've got an insulin glucagon issue. Once I started addressing my candida, my glucose levels have not been all over the place. And that's another thing. We are candida'd out. We are like fungus out. We got mushrooms growing on our elbows. We got mushrooms growing in our butt cracks. See, but my family keeps warning me that although I may not have an issue now, child, we have been indoctrinated into this sick reality that we live in. You have to question everything. Anything with authority, you must question everything, because we are so controlled by what other people say is right and wrong. And we don't question it. We don't question educational systems. We don't question how our bodies go to crap. We don't question our nutrition. We don't question our ideology. People put their kids in front of video games. They're in traffic. Like, I'll ask people, like, on my Facebook, I ask people, I have a couple Facebooks. Okay. One, you guys know I'm doing a keto course, and then I've got a private one, and then I've got a keto fan page. That's Stephanie, the business person. I just said, how much no, it was two questions, 2 different days. One was, how much driving time do you guys have in a day? Because I ride my bike everywhere. I live in Los Angeles. It's a crap, nasty hole, but at least I ride my freaking bike and travel around the world. And people like everybody answered, like so many people answered this question, and the least amount of time was 15 minutes. 15 minutes to me is half my life. 15 minutes in my car? No. Like, I better be on a road trip if it's more than 15 minutes. But the average really was 45. And then there were so many people who were driving hours because they get stuck in traffic. Smoother one way and then clogged in another way. So all of these things you don't question. You're like, oh, well, that's just my job, and that's what I have to do to make money. No, you don't. That's what you think you have to do to make money. And so a lot of you guys can't recognize stress. You can't recognize the fact that your bodies are out of whack. And when it comes down to the subject of the ketogenic diet, everybody's got an opinion who's not doing it. Even professionals. They don't do it. Like, I love Chris Kresser. I think Chris Kresser is a very brilliant man. But Chow, you don't do keto, but you're talking about it. And I've been doing this stuff for a long time. I can tell you the problems, right? Biggest problem? My hand's all sticky now. That's the biggest problem. Your electrolytes are your biggest problem doing keto over time. It's not thyroid, it's not creating some genetic disorders, no autoimmunity. These things aren't increasing. There's no plaques on the arteries. There's no plaque there's no calcium deposits starting to, men aren't losing their hair because they have calcium deposits in their scalp. In fact, I got people on K2 getting rid of the freaking calcium deposits, but there's no heart disease. There's some people I've worked with up to 6 years now. There's no heart disease. There's no cancer that started, diabetes, this whole ridiculous and about insulin receptors being damaged because of, what is it called? Insulin toxicity? Nonsense. Okay, let's see. Is lamb tallow acceptable? Yes, as long as it's not corn fat, because, let's see. Blood sugar is always mid to high 90s. Ooh, ketones at a 1.3. This is okay. That's not okay. That's really bad. Because when I ate carbs, my blood sugar was in the 90s on carbs. Focus phone. Stop getting blurry. So people should have a blood sugar between, pretty much as a safe number, between 70 and like 82, 83 max. 69 to 83, but I notice people hit that 60s, they don't feel well. What was I gonna say? Yeah, blood sugar that high. I mean, you're making ketones, and you might use a little bit of it, but your body's always diverting to the glucose. We have to figure out why your glucose is so high. Do you have too much of production? There's nothing wrong with gluconeogenesis. We need it for our red blood cells, and if you're going by milligrams per deciliter, your blood sugar is not going to be at 0, right? It's going to be between anybody who's eating carbs or not eating carbs, ketotic or glucose dependent, is going to be between typically in the 60s to 90s. Those are the ranges, right? So when you're ketotic, the range gets tighter and lower. That means insulin sensitivity, less insulin need. So your insulin's going to drop, and you're going to be between 70 to 80 milligrams per deciliter. And that's not at 0. So clearly your body is still making sugar. My body still makes sugar. If you eat food, you'll notice that your blood sugar will shoot up to around, can shoot up to the 90s as even being an adapted ketotic person, but it should drop back down to that fasted number after 2 hours. That's stable blood sugar. Unless you're having keto around your menstrual cycle, men don't have a cycle. So their blood sugar, if they can keep their stress down, should be all month long pretty stable. It's women that stuff like skyrockets, and people feel like crap around that cycle, right? A week before the cycle starts, that blood sugar just skyrockets. Okay, so keto with fibroids, good question. I just ran out of my ancient minerals tonight. Time to order it. Blood sugar is always mid to high. Okay, I read that. Okay, so fibroids is very interesting, right? A lot of people have fibroids. In fact, they say that beyond ethnicity and color of skin, that at least 40% of oh yeah, Deborah's writing in caps to subscribe to my keto course, which is only $15. It's not like 800 like some people be charging. Okay, it's $15 a month, or you can do 1 month or many months. And she's just writing how to subscribe through the website, on my website. But the fibroid issue is getting out of control. So with women, there's a couple problems. There's endometriosis, polycystic ovarian syndrome, which is the cysts, and the fibroids. Most women, or almost half the population of women, have fibroids. They just are so tiny. They cause they're benign, they're growths, right? Little tumors. They don't do anything, they don't push on any organs, they're not creating a problem. Well, with our modern diet, since these things are tumors and tumors love sugar, well, those things start growing. Not only can they grow to this size and make women look pregnant, like literally pregnant, and women who are overweight, they don't even know that they have them because they're hidden in all of that visceral and transdermal fat, right? They can't see the fibroids. But even if you've got a bunch of them are grape sized, enough of it, because women can have like 1 to 100 of these tumors in this little tiny thing right there. That's the size of the uterus. And they just grow everywhere. And they love sugar and they love carbs. Now, can keto shrink those fibroids? In theory? Yes, of course. But here's the thing. Here's the caveat. If you don't have high quality food, if you do not keep up your electrolytes, if you do not reinvert down to the right rhythm of cortisol and circadian rhythm, I don't believe that keto can fight cancer or tumors or growth or cysts or even your PCOS unless you get everything in alignment. You must stay on your electrolytes and your water intake, period. Or I don't think it's going to help shrink those fibroids. The body needs high quality food. You cannot just do a bunch of freaking tilapia and tuna on a keto diet. You're not going to get fat soluble vitamins. You're not going to get your minerals. You need that vitamin D. Vitamin D is going to stop those tumors from freaking growing out of control. And that's the problem. People aren't eating high quality foods. Can a man start to do keto and jump right away to eat 200 grams of fat? And everybody, men, women, everyone, 200 grams. And people think that 200 grams is so much. On my course page, people are like, one woman she was showing, because I have certain days where people take a picture of the food or a meal that they're eating and they upload it and then I analyze it. And one woman, she did, I think it was some organ meats, it was either liver or kidney, and 6 tablespoons of butter. Of butter. I was like, okay, girl, 6 tablespoons. So yeah, she's sitting at 90 grams of fat in one meal. One. So when I first did keto, I was up to 400 grams a day. Okay, low quality food always makes me feel worse. Exactly. Liver has about 42 IUs of vitamin D and about 3 ounces of beef. But I believe you said, sorry. 35 grams a day for 6 feet. 35 grams of what? So for what? 35 grams of fat? No, if you're talking about fat at 6 feet, if you are, I don't know if you are active, inactive, your activity level plays a role in the amount of protein you consume and the amount of fat that you might need. Your activity level and your lean mass. 35 carbs? No, you don't need that. For what? You don't need that. Look, there's carnivore people. You don't need a drop of carbs. What do you need 35 carbs for? For what? Is it total or is it net? Now, total 35 total carbs is probably going to take you down to about 15, 16 total. If it's net, so I don't even know if you're 35 net or total, which makes a difference. And I don't know from what source. People keep thinking that they could do, like, let's say 13 carbs from like sweet potato. It's only 13 carbs. That's in my allotment. I'm like, no, 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 no. That starch can get into your bloodstream very quickly. And it's not only the amount of carbohydrates that hit the blood as glucose, it's the speed. And if you have that spike of glucose, the brain's like, I don't want to adapt. My drug is back. My pharmacy is back, right? My high is back. And it's very, very difficult to adapt with that one person having glucose towards, in the 90s. That is not good. That's stress. It's either the wrong macros, or you're having inflammatory issues, or you are not sleeping well and you're having the early morning dawns phenomenon happen, or you're hypoglycemic, but something's spiking your blood sugar that bad, or it's the food, you're having a sensitivity to a food. So it's something in there. You know what I mean? It's either your lifestyle, you're working late, you're dropping off kids at like soccer late at night, or you focus, you stupid phone. I'll be so glad when I get rid of this thing. Okay, what minerals do you use? No, minerals. Just go and Google everything that's in liver. The only mineral that I really try to get people on is this. Let's do one more spray and waste my ancient minerals. Is magnesium. Everything else you can get from food. Selenium and copper and zinc and potassium, chromium. Okay, let's see. Do people really need to supplement magnesium? Yeah, because our soil is so depleted. And if you do keto as long as I have for 11 years, you can't. You cannot go without it. You cannot. That's the one caveat on a keto diet. You must be on your electrolytes and enough water, or you're not gonna feel well. You're gonna develop heart palpitations and muscle cramps so bad you're gonna have a low energy without your electrolytes. And it may not even be hypoglycemia. It could be just not enough potassium, sodium balance, not enough magnesium. Lamb liver, you love lamb liver. A lot of people like lamb liver here. It's so expensive. It's like, it's way more expensive over beef liver, but I think it's because it doesn't have so much of a metallic iron taste. And I kind of crave that metallic iron taste, so I'm good with it. Do I cook my liver? I do both. I do raw. I'm not going to say this because I don't want to influence people's minds, but I prefer the cooked liver, slightly cooked, over the raw. But I know how things work in time. You begin to crave what your body needs. So raw liver is obviously way better. So you're going to get less carbohydrates in it. You're going to get more vitamin C in it, which is another very interesting thing about people doing carnivore. Like, I keep reading about the need for vitamin C goes down so much when you are a carnivist. Very interesting. But you still get vitamin C in meat. You just get way less than you would in citrus. I don't prefer lamb liver. No, I like all the liver. I don't care if it's lamb, if it's pork, if it's chicken, if it's beef. And beef is more readily available. They're huge. It's going to be cheaper for me to purchase grass-fed beef liver than lamb liver. So I prefer beef. But I think, you guys, it's time to go. I always say I'm going to do 30 minutes. I go longer than that. Thank you, Carnival, for coming to my channel. And I like to give shout outs to people who I watch. I watch their stuff. So if I see them appear here, I just want to give them a shout out. And we're all just learning here. I switched to lamb because I can't do beef. Why can you not do beef? What's the time frame you recommend for what? That magnesium spray stings like... It's weird. Like, I know some people... That's why when you're using the spray... I can't spray anymore because everything's become a little sticky now. What I like to do is spray thin parts. So I will spray the top of the hands, the top of the feet. The skin is thinner, especially when you're in your 50s. And I can spray my arm and rub it in, but then it does sting a little bit. Not a lot, but it stings a little. But it doesn't sting on the hands, and it doesn't sting on the feet. It doesn't sting on the bottom of the feet, but the skin's a little bit too thick there. So the top of the feet and your hands are great without the sting, with either the lotion or the spray. Top of the hands, that's why I keep spraying on the hand, or the feet. Thank you, Carnival. You guys go to his channel. You can see him right there. I'm not one of these people that doesn't like to push other people. I don't know what the big deal is with that. Like, I'm not going to put you on my Instagram. I'm not going to, you got to pay me to, I don't do any of that. I don't care. So you guys go check out his channel. He's growing his channel and he's got a lot of good information. I think he lives in Ecuador. I went to Ecuador a couple years ago now. I think he went to Ecuador, or lives in Ecuador in the mountains. And I was watching your interview. I can't remember. I was watching something on your channel recently. And you were talking about the pastured animals. And I remember when I was in Ecuador now, I went to visit a friend in Ecuador. So I got like the friend version of Ecuador. We traveled all around. But I remember in the mountains and these pastured pigs just walking around. I was like, I've never seen that before in my life. I'd never just seen like pastured fields and then just pigs walking, chilling. You know, just a couple pigs. So Ecuador is so freaking beautiful. It's an amazing place. But anyway, he lives there. I've heard you talk about your wife. Never seen her on camera. Go and check out his, yes, Ecuador, animals everywhere, stopping traffic. So you guys go to Carnival's channel. Check out his stuff. He's a very smart guy. He lives in a way that I'm very envious. So maybe one day I can live like him, and as to be so lucky to live like Carnival. And check out a lot of the stuff that, no, he just doesn't do the vegan stuff, but the vegan stuff, I've been watching vegans for years, Carnival, like solid 10. Like I've been watching the drama. I just sit and watch it. Carnival, I don't touch that stuff. You're blushing now. But yeah, you guys go to his channel, subscribe, and check out his stuff. He's got an interesting way to present his stuff. I think it's an acquired taste because he's not so in your face, and because he's coming from more of an intelligent perspective, he presents his stuff in a different way. Like sometimes he'll just have a video of like 1940 stuff playing and then talk about life, which I can resonate with because I'm older than him. But then he does go straight to the point with some stuff, breaking some stuff down. But he's got a very sarcastic humor that is acquired that it gets me rolling. So so go check out his channel. And if you guys want to learn more, and he talks about his journey. I don't think you're doing people I think are a little bit too black. I think that if you're doing a carnivore diet, that you really need to be strict on a carnivore diet for a long period of time. I feel if you're trying to heal from these whole like Crohn's and colitis and all these gut issues and having a histamine issue. But if you don't have any of those issues, I don't really see a need to be 100% a carnist because, you know, like I said, keto, just what these words, they're so annoying. But like what I do is I have a little bit of spinach, I have a little bit of avocado. Every blue moon, I'll start like rotating other things in like cabbage or hello, my brain just went bleep. Sometimes Brussels sprouts, sometimes cabbage, and cauliflower. That's it, because I really like cauliflower. But I'm not picky about food. I just get enough fat in, and I get my proteins in, and that's that. I'm good. And I'm using more plants to heal, right? For the minerals and to heal. So, like I said, certain plants like turmeric and ginger and lemon. People who've got too much estrogen in the liver, they have issues with their kidneys. If you don't have histamine reaction, then lemon is really great to dissolve the stones in your kidney. Warm lemon water is really good to help kind of pull out that estrogen, even men, out of that liver. And So plants have they have a cleansing property to them. They are good. So the carnivore people who think that you should only be 100% carnivore, I'm like, okay, you do that, child. Let's see if you get like heart palpitations and headache. Just saying. See if someone is a hypoglycemic, she recommends some mini meals. Okay, so if you are hypoglycemic trying to do keto, you got to be on a schedule. If you don't eat on a schedule, then do not do keto. Because people who are not adapted, who are not yet using ketones, will tend to crash, and then that affects the whole hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, and thyroid axis. And I see it every day. The hair starts falling out. It just does, right? You start to have those thyroid symptoms, like I can't take a dump, like my hair is falling out, and it's bad. You guys, look at your tongue, look at the ridges of your nails. If you have any tingling on your fingertips, these are the things that start to happen with people who either intermittent fast and don't rest, or people who are hypoglycemic, have the wrong foods. They're eating cheese and nuts and drinking coffee, and their blood sugar is super unstable. Their glucagon to insulin balance isn't working, and so you have to eat every couple of hours. If you only don't like getting ripped off, yeah. Okay. Yeah, you have to eat. So essentially, you're not trying to spike your insulin. So we're not we're not trying to literally eat a bunch of carbs every day to destabilize your blood sugar. If you're eating a keto diet with these mini fat snacks, so what I have people do is I'll have them, especially who are hypoglycemic, I have you eat a breakfast. And if you have a hard time with digestion, you do a small breakfast with fat and fatty meats. And then you're going to either do one of two things. You're either going to have like a fatty tea or bone broth with fat added to it. And you can have butter, you can have lard, you can have tallow. Or you can, which is I recommend over avocados and things of this nature. But if you stuck somewhere and you don't have a latex allergy, you can use an avocado as a way to deal with your hypoglycemia. Now, the other thing that I recommend is egg yolks, if you can tolerate the protein in egg yolks. Most is in the white, but there are still 2 grams of protein per yolk. And only histamine people have an issue with egg yolks. Normal people, I can eat a ton of eggs and I'm fine. But a yolk with 2 tablespoons of fat, let's say in a mid-morning or between your meals, will help stabilize that blood sugar. So because I've been working with people with hypoglycemia now for years, it works. And some people are just so, if you don't sleep well and you keep stressing and you're not breathing and your plumb line is off and your posture is off and all this stuff, it's not going to work. Keto's just not going to work. You must get your body in balance. Even if you eat 3 meals and 2 snacks or 3 snacks to stabilize blood sugar, if you're stressed, your blood sugar is going to be all over the place and you're going to be glycogen depleted, and you're going to start to have issues. Like I said, ringing, tinnitus, vertigo, Raynaud's, hair falling out, thyroid, adrenal issues, electrolyte issues, palpitations. So you got to be on your shite when you do this and drink enough water. You're late, but you're here. I'm going to go to Whitney. So, okay, guys, I think that's it. Thank you for you guys joining this live stream. I always say that, like, and you guys don't forget to pound out the likes. There's 77 people in this here live stream, and only 55 likes. So don't forget to like up the stream by hitting the X in the corner, collapsing the live stream, because people are like, I don't know how to do it. And then there are icons at the bottom, and one of them is a thumbs up, and another one is a chat box. You hit the thumbs up, then you hit the chat box, and then that reopens back the chat. 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in the morning with water and lemon is okay if you don't have histamine intolerance. So I had a consultation yesterday, and the woman cannot handle those 2 foods. She has histamine and reacts to apple cider vinegar and lemon. Unfortunately, some people do. And if you don't have histamine intolerance, yes, by all means, at least the lemon. And my hands are so sticky now. I'm like so grossed out, like stick, stick, stick. Nice to see you on Saturday night. I know, thank you, thank you. A like for me now, thanks. So thanks everyone for joining this chat, and I will start to deconstruct this live stream and explain more about the electrolytes and the macros in 3-minute videos, because you guys sometimes don't like my live stream, and this is going to be pixelated and jump all over the place. I know, so don't complain. At least the first half of it. And like I said, go check out Carnival's channel and subscribe. You will get some information there. I will not say that to people who I don't think you're going to learn anything from. I will not do that. That's for sure. All right, bye guys. You know, I got some energy. Yes. 11 years strict on keto at 51, going on 52. No refeeds. Been doing this forever. I live in a shoebox. So you see I don't live a glamorous life. You see I'm not highly profiting off of this and buying expensive cars. I like ride my bike everywhere. And got the business full natty on keto. All right, guys, I'm out. Peace. Thank you. Thank you, Deborah, for always being here to moderate the chat. And you do it so well, I almost forget to even see if there are trolls. And then Deborah tends to answer people's questions that I don't see. So thank you, Deborah. And I will see you next time, whenever that is, maybe on my course page. So Deborah's there on the course page also. But this is her main, like, this is her, this is where my homie's at. This is where she comes in and she like slays the trolls and whatnot. If you guys have any ideas of things that you want me to talk about, because I've been talking about this for 11 years, so sometimes there are new things, you know, like L-carnitine, I realize is so good for people trying to adapt. That was the driver of this live stream, is to eat red meat and to not get hooked up on chicken. Except for the egg yolks. I get hooked on that. It's so nutritionally dense. Yeah, thank you, Deborah. And I'm out. Don't forget to go to my Instagram, Stephanie Ketogenic. Go to my Facebook, which is Stephanie the Business Person. You get free information there as well. Watch this channel, or sign up for my course, or sign up for a consultation where we'll talk one-on-one, and you're going to learn a lot how to do this the right way. And I'm out. Bye, guys. Oh, don't forget, I'm still writing my book. It'll be good. Just be patient. I'll announce